Hello everyone, welcome back, and today is March 6th, and there's a lot of news to talk about around Barcelona. There's some news regarding Paulo Dybala being linked to Barcelona right now, and also Raphinha being moved into the midfield with the injuries to Frenkie de Jong and Pedri, so I just wanted to talk about all of that today. And the first report I wanted to talk about was Paulo Dybala, because I think some Barcelona fans have some mixed feelings around this potential signing, but I think Dybala would be a great signing for Barcelona, because currently his release clause for clubs outside of the Italian league is 12 million, and for a player of Dybala's quality, for 12 million in this market, that is a steal. And the concerns from Barcelona fans around Dybala, it has nothing to do with the talent that he has as a player. It's more the fact that he has struggled with injury problems in the past couple seasons. But I think Barcelona, you want to add quality into the team, and I think Barcelona have had a lot of injury problems themselves, so maybe signing an injury-prone player would not help that, and I guess Barcelona's medical staff, I don't think that would help Barcelona's injury problems. But Dybala for 12 million without a very high salary, I think that would be worth the risk for Barcelona, because I think Barcelona at times they do need a player that's creative, that can kind of create something out of nothing, and that changes the game by himself. And I think the goal-scoring threat that Dybala possesses, and the creativity, and how great his technique is, I think he would fit in very well with Barcelona's team. And this is definitely not the first time Barcelona has been linked to Dybala, but it never made sense when Messi was still at the club, because Dybala and Messi, they play a similar role, and Dybala and Messi together on the same team, it just doesn't work out, and that's why Dybala never plays really with Argentina, even though he's a great player and has a lot of quality. It just doesn't work well with Messi, and not saying that he can definitely take over that role as Messi did with Barcelona, but I think Dybala, he would add a lot to the team, and I think now, at this point in time, he would fit in very well with Barcelona's team. And when he has played for Roma, he has been great, and to be honest, I don't see him very eager to be leaving Roma, because he got such a great reception from them, and I think he feels very comfortable there, so I don't see him being very eager to leave. But Barcelona, that's definitely a deal to look out for in the summer. I think there are definitely times where Barcelona has missed that difference maker in the attacking third, and I feel like Paulo Dybala, for around 12 million, I think it's worth the risk, because yes, he will miss some games due to injury, and again, Barcelona have struggled with a lot of injury problems in the past couple seasons, but I just think Dybala would be a great fit for Barcelona, and you need quality in the attacking third. And with the low budget that Barcelona will have in the summer, I think 12 million for Dybala, it's completely worth it in my opinion. But to be completely honest, do I see this deal likely to happen in the summer? I don't think so. I don't feel like he's going to be leaving Roma in the summer, but if he does, I don't know if it would be to Barcelona given the financial situation that they're in right now. But if Barcelona has the ability to make this signing happen, I think they should look into it. I think they should try and go for it, because yes, he's going to miss a couple games due to injuries, but I think a lot of players on Barcelona are going to miss games due to injury, and that's what you have to add to your team, is quality in your subs, because when players like Pedri are out, Barcelona really struggle to create chances and to score for Barcelona, and I think Dybala, he would add that bit of quality that Barcelona might need going into next season. And for a lot of football fans, there's a lot of talk around the sport moving away from that number 10 role, but I think Dybala would work very well as an attacking midfielder for Barcelona. And he's just a joy to watch, and he's one of the most exciting players, and he's one of my favorite players of this past generation. So I will have some bias towards him signing for Barcelona, but he would be one of the signings that I'm most excited for if he does join Barcelona in the summer. And I definitely understand people disagreeing with this, because they think Barcelona needs a lot of players that can be consistent and can play every single week, and I don't think Dybala would be able to do that, but I think when he was able to play, he would be able to make the difference for Barcelona, and I just think he would fit in very well with Barcelona's system. But really, I hope Barcelona's focus is on the next coach, because you want to make sure that the next coach, he counts on the players that Barcelona are going to try and sign in the summer if they're able to make signings, because you don't want to waste money if a coach doesn't count on a player that Barcelona want to sign anyways. But for Dybala, the quality that he possesses for 12 million as a release clause, that's a steal in this market, and I would be really excited if Dybala does sign for Barcelona in the summer, even though right now I don't see it very likely that it's going to happen. And then the next report I wanted to talk about was Raphinha potentially being moved into the midfield due to the injuries of Frenkie de Jong and Pedri, and it does seem like Xavi is maybe going to try that in Barcelona's next game. And I've said it before that the only reason that Raphinha and Lamine Yamal should be on the field together is if Lamine Yamal is playing as a right winger and Raphinha is a right attacking midfielder. Raphinha on the left is a complete waste of anything good that he brings to Barcelona's team. And there's nothing wrong with him as a player, but on that left side, it just doesn't get the best out of his abilities, and really there's no reason to be playing him there. I would much rather João Felix be playing instead of Raphinha in that position. And I will say, if Raphinha ever plays on the left again, I think Xavi should be sacked. I've defended him a lot this season, but that is a ridiculous decision, and I understand the injuries to Frenkie de Jong and Pedri. It forced his hand a little bit, and he wanted to bring Lamine Yamal, who has been Barcelona's best player, onto the field, but I just think I would much rather Raphinha stay on the right and João Felix be on the left in that situation, because Raphinha is just a passenger when he's played on the left, and he looks very frustrated when he was moved to that side. And we've seen Raphinha play maybe once or twice in that right attacking midfield role for Barcelona, and I think there were glimpses of how good he could be in that position, but maybe he didn't look very comfortable, and I completely understand that because that's a very new position for him. But I think for some Barcelona fans, they don't like him as a right winger because he doesn't exactly take people on, he doesn't beat people, he's not exactly very pacey, and Lamine Yamal, of course, has been much better as a right winger this season than Raphinha. But Raphinha is still a very valuable profile to have, so if you're able to play Raphinha on the inside and Lamine Yamal on the right, I think that would get the best out of both of those players. You know, maybe there's some system changes that would need to be made to integrate Raphinha into that position, but I still think it would probably be worth it to try because, again, with Frenkie de Jong and Pedri both being out injured, I think Barcelona, they should be looking to make some changes. And for Raphinha, I think he makes a lot of great runs in behind. He's timing his runs very well. He works very hard, so I think he could work in the midfield, but I think sometimes maybe on the ball, it might be a little bit iffy. But again, I think the options right now would be Gundogan, who's a guarantee, and then Christensen as a defensive midfielder. And then would it be Sergio Roberto? Would it be Oriol Romeu? Would it be Fermin Lopez? I think Raphinha, he might be the best addition to that position. My guess would be if that does happen, if Raphinha does move to a right attacking midfielder, then Barcelona would probably not play with a left winger. And I wouldn't be surprised if Xavi does that because right now it doesn't seem like he's counting on João Felix because, again, Raphinha was moved to the left instead of just bringing on João Felix. I mean, that kind of shows how much Xavi counts on João Felix right now. In my opinion, that's not a great sign. And so if Raphinha does move into the midfield, I think Xavi would play with 4 midfielders, and he would hope that Cancelo can provide width because there wouldn't be a left winger. There would be Lamine Yamal on the right, Lewandowski on the left, and then the only player on the left would be either Sergio Roberto or Fermin Lopez, which would be one of the 4 midfielders, and then Cancelo on the wing. And so I would not be surprised if Xavi decides to try this in this game against Mallorca before the game against Napoli because the system completely changes without Frenkie de Jong and Pedri. Those are 2 crucial players for Barcelona. And, you know, Xavi, it might be a little bit of a panic now because you're either starting Fermin Lopez or Sergio Roberto in this game, which, no offense to either of those players, you don't want them to be starting this game. I would much rather Raphinha be starting if they can fit him into the team. Sergio Roberto, he does have these good performances in big games, and so I wouldn't put it past him to be starting in this game against Napoli. And again, it's no offense to him. I think Barcelona, of course, when all the other midfielders are healthy, they have better options, but that's not the case. Pedri and Frenkie are injured right now, and you have to work with what you have. And so if Raphinha does move into the midfield, I think it would be a 4-man midfield with Christensen as a defensive midfielder, and then Roberto alongside him, and then probably Gundogan going forward because I just think all the impact that he has in the opposing box, I think it's well worth it to give him that freedom to go forward and not limit him to be a defensive midfielder, and then also Raphinha, of course, on the right side alongside Gundogan. And I think, in my opinion, that's the best case scenario for this game against Napoli, and I would hope that Xavi tries it in this game in La Liga first because João Felix, he does have his moments. I wouldn't mind him starting in the game against Napoli, but he's just so hit or miss, and it's difficult to guarantee a place in the starting lineup for him in a very big game for Barcelona. And it's definitely a really interesting idea, and I think that's the only way that Raphinha can start in this game against Napoli. If you play him as a right attacking midfielder, and then you have Lamine Yamal on the right, Lewandowski up top, and then really no left winger. It'd basically be either Gundogan or Sergio Roberto, but then Cancelo would be, of course, going forward a lot. And I think, again, for this game against Napoli, that might be the best case scenario. And of course, we all wish that Barcelona had more time to experiment with this because it is a big risk, and you know, it looks great on paper, maybe it would work, but we don't know how well it would work, of course, in a big game against a great opponent like Napoli. I wish Barcelona maybe had more time, but that's what happened. You know, Pedri and Frenkie de Jong got injured. You have to work with the players that you have, and Raphinha would be a great addition to the team, but I don't think he should be starting in front of Lamine Yamal. So maybe this allows Raphinha to get a start in this game. And then up next is a report that Deco is interested in Mikel Arteta from Arsenal, and let's just not believe that for a second. There's no way that Arteta is going to be leaving Arsenal with the project that he's created there. There's no way that he leaves Arsenal this summer. He's a great coach. He's done great things with Arsenal, and of course he does have ties with Barcelona. There's no way that this is going to happen in the summer, and so there's really nothing else I can say about that. I just would not believe those rumors for a second. And then up next is a report that Barcelona have a plan for both João Felix and João Cancelo. It seems likely that João Cancelo is going to try and be signed permanently for Barcelona, which I think is the right idea. If Barcelona can maybe spend 10 to 15 million, that would be great. And for a player of Cancelo's quality, I think that's worth it. For João Felix, on the other hand, I've already said that the only way I think Barcelona should be signing him for next season is if it's on a loan. I don't think Barcelona should be paying any permanent fee for him because I just don't think he's shown enough this season. He's shown moments of brilliance, but definitely nowhere near enough to be Barcelona spending 70 million on him. There's no chance Barcelona should be doing that, and I definitely don't think they will. And there was also an interesting report today that Inigo Martinez looks possible to leave in the summer, and I would be really interested to see this. I don't think he's done bad when he's played, but obviously he's had a couple injury problems this season, and with the rise of Kubarsi, of course, that maybe put some doubts into Inigo Martinez's future. He was brought in as a free transfer, and I don't think he's done bad enough for Barcelona to look to sell him or just release him from his contract. I don't really see that happening, but it's an interesting report, and maybe for Inigo Martinez, he wants more game time, but again, when he's been healthy, I think he has forced his way into the starting lineup. But he's one of those players that I wouldn't mind Barcelona keeping if he doesn't have a very high salary, but at the same time, I wouldn't throw a fit if Barcelona do decide to sell him off in the summer. I think he is a good player, but there are a lot of center backs at Barcelona right now that, one of them might have to go in the summer. And then some news today that this is the first time I'm hearing about it is that Ronald Araujo now has a documentary out. And there was an event today where a lot of Barcelona fans went to go celebrate that documentary, and I'm definitely going to have to watch that soon. And Laporta was asked about Ronald Araujo, and he said that he would give Ronald Araujo a lifetime contract at Barcelona. And I'm on the same page as him. I think he's a great player for Barcelona's future, and I hope he stays at Barcelona for his entire career. And then talking about the other Araujo that's currently on loan from Barcelona to Las Palmas, it seems likely that Barcelona are going to count on him to be a first-team player for Barcelona's first team, and I think that's the right idea because he's a great defensive fullback, and I think that provides a lot of cover for that position. And he's very young. He has a lot of time to grow into that position and get better going forward. I think the most important thing for Barcelona is to find a defensive fullback, and that's the right idea, to sign Julian Araujo back to your first team. And he's had a very successful loan spell at Las Palmas so far, so again, I think it's the right idea for Barcelona, and I'm very happy with that decision. And I have been talking with my friend about the Barcelona Discord, and it might be ready today, and if it is, I will put the link to join the Discord in this video, but if it's not, then I apologize, and hopefully it will be ready in the next couple days, but I will let you know. And as always, thank you very much for watching my video. I really do appreciate it. Visca Barca, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.